First Bridge Geneva public land, and the whole stretch is private. It's a stretch of the river called Cambridge Backs, which is very simply where the college is on the water, back into the river. So you can't really access this part of things we're going to cover unless you're alone. This is why we have so many people come and do this. Because you get a fairly close approximation of the feeling like you're experiencing being within Cambridge University by doing this. So the university is made up of 31 colleges. They're all spread out throughout the town, so it does sometimes feel a bit difficult to feel like you're getting to experience Cambridge University. We've got 7 colleges on this stretch. Of these 7 colleges we're going to go through are some of Cambridge's older colleges. We've got some of the more famous colleges down here as well. So all the colleges are going to go through dates between the 14th and the 16th centuries. We're going to go through colleges such as King's, we're going to go through Trinity, we're going to go through John's. We won't go through Cambridge's first college, it's not along here. The oldest college dates from 1284. But we will go through the second oldest college. That's about halfway along this stretch. And that college is Clare College.
Is there a laboratory? Is there a laboratory university here?
A laboratory university?
Yeah.
The famous laboratory called Cavendish Labs. But there isn't a laboratory university.
Oh, I thought there was. Well, it must be the other place.
Maybe. I think most of the... yes, I think you've got a university, it's got different faculty buildings, different research centres and things like that. I think Cavendish Labs is one of the labs, one of the research centres. There's a couple probably around the place. Cavendish Labs, traditionally the older part of it's in the middle of town. There's a newer Cavendish Lab just outside town, up the hill, just over the bridge we just come under, and then you go up the hill a bit. And quite about Madingley Road, eventually you'll come to an area there which is all university grounds, all modern, and you've got a new Cavendish Lab up there. Going up to the John's College grounds here. John's dates 1511. It was founded by one of Henry VIII's grandmothers, a woman by the name of Lady Margaret Beaufort. When we go into a college, generally assume that the land on both sides of the boat corresponds to the college in question. And so the river cuts through the college land, so it bisects the back gardens, essentially, of the colleges. Cambridge operates under something called a collegiate system. So under a collegiate system, which consists of 31 colleges. The main purpose of the college is your home, is where you live. So what we're essentially doing is we're just literally going through the students' homes. We are kind of going through their back gardens. This is through the back door. Ahead of you, you've got New Bridge there. The New Bridge is the iconic bridge on the river. It's our first college bridge. As all the land is private, the bridges are private. There's only one public crossing, Garrett Hostel Bridge, about halfway along the church. New Bridge, much more commonly referred to as the Bridge of Sighs, or the Bridge of Sighs, that's a very famous Venetian bridge for that name. The bridge here and the bridge in Venice actually don't resemble each other particularly. They say we call our bridge the Bridge of Sighs. Queen Victoria visited Cambridge not long after this bridge was built. And when she saw it, she said, doesn't that look like the Bridge of Sighs in Venice? And nobody was brave enough to say to Queen Victoria, no, your majesty, that doesn't look like the Bridge of Sighs in Venice. And the name has thus stuck. There are a number of bridges with the name around the world. Some of the more famous ones, the one we have here. We've got one in Oxford. That bridge spans a road. It doesn't much look like the original either. There's only one else that does, and that's to be found in Las Vegas with the Venetian Hotel. I'm told that's a copy of the original. I'm told a little bit tacky and made of plastic. It probably would be.
Las Vegas has got a lot of replicas of places from all over in the world.
Yeah, yeah, your pyramids, your Eiffel Tower, Palace, the old Roman Bridge. So the bridge in Venice, the Bridge of Sighs, was the connection between the courtroom and the prisons. Prisoners would take their last time crossing the bridge and going to either incarceration or execution. And I suppose in Vegas they take the side crossing the bridge and they've lost all their money. Here the parody is that the students live on one side of the river crossing the bridge before going to pick up their final exam results and finding out whether they get a first or, God forbid, a 2.
Is it spelt Sigh in the same way as like when someone like sighs, you know?
Sigh,
Yeah, S-I-G-H.
If you look at a map, even though the bridge is called New Bridge officially, if you look at a map, it won't say New Bridge, it'll say Bridge of Sighs. Nobody knows if the bridge is being called New Bridge, everyone refers to it as Bridge of Sighs.
How far does the River Cam go from here to?
Sort of like 20 miles up and 20 miles down from here.
Does it go into any other canties? Does it go into any other canties?
The river, it starts somewhere near Royston, I think. It's got 2 sources, I don't know what the other source is. It ends up in the Greater Ouse, that ends up in the Wash. That ends up in the North Sea.
Oh, I know, the Wash here near Unstanton.
Well, actually, it's in there. Grounds, so it's the biggest college we go to today. One of Cambridge's largest colleges. It's the richest Cambridge college as well. So Trinity make up roughly a third of the wealth of Cambridge University. They're estimated, I think, at the moment, you have somewhere in the region between £2 and £3 billion. Quite a lot of money in this country for an education institute to be worth. The university is worth about £9 billion.
That is a lot.
Yeah, let's compare ourselves to like Harvard, for example. So Harvard in the US is worth about $44 billion. That's America for you. A lot more money in their higher education system than in ours, but it's a lot of money. Part of the reason for Trinity's wealth is a very wealthy landowner. They're among the top richest landowners in this country. That's a group of institutions that includes the Crown, the National Trust, the Church, Ministry of Defence, Trinity College.
How long have you been punting for?
Sorry?
How long have you been punting for?
I've been doing this about 10 years, I'd say.
No, a long time.
Well, yeah, it's quite a long time. I mean, it's a young person's job. But it is also a job that keeps people as well. So I'm not the longest serving person in this river, although I'm getting to be one of the longest serving people in the river. You get some people who started doing this full time a long time ago. They stopped doing it full time, still doing it part time. There are a fair few students, not Cambridge University students, usually people from the town who are students, who do this in their holidays. You get a lot of school leavers doing it before they go to university. And you get idiots like me who do it all the time.
Do you think you'll still be doing this job in 10 years' time?
Sorry?
Do you think you'll still be doing it in like 10 years' time?
So. But number one, it's quite a physical number. But most importantly, there's not really much option or much progression in the industry. I've been pushing boats all that time. I'm like, if you want somebody to push a boat, I'm your guy. That's me. I am not a boat pusher. More or less.
Maybe it's not work. I think there's two descendants in Cambridge, one in the Botanical Gardens and one outside the college.
Just at the halfway point on the river here, so this is Narrow Hostel Bridge. This is the only public crossing on this stretch. Every other bridge being private. You've got a public crossing here partly because the college on the left of Trinity Hall is quite small, so they don't have land on the other side of the river. Therefore they don't have a bridge, so they stuck a public bridge there, which is nice for them. This is coming up the oldest college we've passed through, so you're coming up to Clare College ground. Cambridge's first college isn't on the river, that college is called Easter House. You'd have dates from 1284. Clare are coming up to dates from 1326. The first students arrived in Cambridge in 1209, so Cambridge University is roughly 800 years old. Rather ironically, the first students arrived from the other place, they arrived from Oxford. But Oxford's a bit older than Cambridge. I don't think there's an exact date for the foundation of Oxford. There is an exact date for the foundation of Cambridge, because what happened in Oxford in 1209 is that rioting broke out between the townsfolk and the student population of Oxford, and as a result of that rioting, some of the Oxford students were lynched and hanged, and the remaining students ran away. Some of them came to Cambridge, and the ones that came to Cambridge remained. Clare that we're coming through was originally founded as a college called University Hall in 1326. Now, University Hall was very badly managed. It went bankrupt. It was rescued by a woman called Lady Elizabeth de Clare in 1338. Elizabeth de Clare was very rich, partly because she was the granddaughter of King Edward I, but she also had the great misfortune of being married and widowed 3 times by the age of 27. Each of her husbands very wealthy men. They all died in the first year of marriage. That left her with no husband but an awful lot of money. With some of that money she refounded University Hall and she gave it her name. It sounds a bit suspicious. She did become known of as the Black Widow of Cambridge. The insinuation being she killed her husband for their cash. She hadn't killed her husband at all, she just got unlucky. Or lucky, depending on how you view it. Personally, I say lucky. Exactly what I do in a situation like that. I get over my grief with a lot of champagne and parties. She didn't marry for 4 times. Pretty unlikely. Anyone wants to risk it? Clare Bridge, tell you it's true. Clare Bridge is the coming up to King's College grounds now. So the view you're going to see on the left here, this is the famous iconic view of Cambridge. View of King's and King's Chapel. The chapel being the large building with the spires, the stained glass windows. And you've got the main body of the college to the right of that. It's called the Gibbs Building. It's the view they tend to use to represent the town and the university. So the view you're going to see on the front of the guidebooks. It's the view they put on the postcards. People often mistake King's for being a bit more important than it actually is, because in the view, a lot of people think what we're looking at there is the biggest college or the oldest college. Some people think this is the university itself. It's none of those things. It's just that people know the view and make those associations. King's was founded by Henry VI in 1441. Henry VI was a very young king, 20 when he founded King's, and the year before he founded King's, he founded Eton. And for most of King's history, only old Etonians could go to King's College. So for most of its history, King's was a very elite and very exclusive institution in its own right. They changed the rules in 1873. They allowed people other than old Etonians in. They also at this point introduced compulsory exams for the first time. Up until then, you could receive something very euphemistically called a gentleman's degree. That was automatically awarded. You actually didn't have to do any work for it, which makes it sound a bit like the ideal college. But the thing is, the boys who were coming up here from Eton would have been aristocrats and nobility, so not really looking to go and get jobs. Probably they just left Eton, came up to King's, spent their time here 3 or 4 years, drinking fine wine, brandy, eating caviar, smoking expensive cigars. They got awarded their automatic gentleman's degree, which they didn't have to work for. At which point they were fully prepared for a lifetime of drinking brandy, fine wine, eating caviar.
Eton, is that the same one? Eton, is that the same place Boris Johnson went to?
Yeah, all of that lot.
Oh.
Johnson, Cameron, I can't remember all their names, but you know.
William and Harry probably went there.
Who?
William and Harry.
They did actually, yeah. Mainly because Charles didn't want to send him to the school he went to. He didn't like the school he went to, Charles. Up his broadcasting or something. You've got Bodley's Court on your left there, student accommodation. I think primarily for third years. Traditionally regarded as some of the best student accommodation in the university. Probably with some of these older student accommodation blocks now, they're not quite as good as the modern ones. But when this was built, it was one of the better student accommodation blocks. Maybe a throwback to the old Etonian days. Nowadays, King's is quite a liberal left-wing college. It's sort of reacted against this elite past. One of the colleges taking on a higher percentage of state school students as well, as opposed to privately educated students. This is all Queen's College around us. Unfortunately, Queen's College is very old. Dated from 1448. It's not particularly good to look at. Most of the buildings you can see at Queen's River are modern. They've got the dubious honour of having what is often considered the ugliest building on the river on my direct left. The Erasmus building. Student accommodation again. Very much in keeping with generally associated student accommodation. I suppose some of the other buildings we're going to look at in student accommodation. Built by the same man who built the Barbican Centre in London. More modern architecture about right. More student accommodation. The wooden bridge ahead of us. One of Cambridge's famous bridges, the name of that wooden bridge is the Wooden Bridge.
Maybe there are some
Now, the Wooden Bridge is a pretty bad name for a bridge made of wood.
okay.
It's much more commonly known
For the most part,
as the Mathematical Bridge. It's very often mistakenly ascribed as to having been built by Sir Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton didn't build the bridge as he would have struggled because he was dead. He died 23 years before the bridge was built. The man responsible, a man called William Etheridge. Built originally in 1749. You're looking at the third version of that bridge. It dates from 1905. You have the oldest building on the river on our left-hand side, the Square Brick Building, the old President's Lodge of Queens. It's about 540 years old. Really, this is the only building we'll look at today, which dates from the foundation date. Returning the boat shortly. We're just turning before the river goes back into public land and before the point goes on to the upper river. By doing this, we've taken the entirety of the middle level of the river. The river's formed over 3 levels. You've got upper, middle, and lower river. You join the boat just before the river drops down to the lower.